Hey there, it's about 5:45 in the evening. I've just finished my working shift through the day, and today is a very exciting day for Studio D because there's been this one real hold-up, something that's been holding us up, I guess you would say, for, ever since we got in here, and that's this patch right here. And that's because we've got a little bit of mold there and we're not sure if we can just cut it out or what we need to do. I'm not experienced with that stuff, so I called on my buddy Andy Christie from Safe Homes Canada, and also Inspect the Uninspected TV, which is going to be coming soon to YouTube and Roku and every platform that you can find. But Andy's going to be here. He's going to take a look at this and find out just exactly what we need to do, how bad or not bad the situation is. I don't think it's that bad, but I think that it's best to let a professional take a look when it comes to mold, and then we can go from there. So once he's done that, then we can finally start cutting out pieces of drywall that need replacing. We can fix stuff, we can patch the drywall, we can mud, tape, and inevitably paint, and move into Studio D. So this is really a turning point day here on day 4, so very, very excited about this.
Hey, Andy Christie, Safe Homes Canada, wearing his sunglasses indoors for Robbie Ferguson because I'm not getting paid today, so...
Because you're too cool?
I can be as rude as I want. No, I know, it's a clean show. Here's the deal. So yeah, you see a bunch of water staining, minor molds, etc., some possible molds. I already know what this is about before even going outside the building, but how do you inspect it? How do you figure it out? You go outside the building. At flat roofs, water normally infiltrates at the junction where the flat roof meets the parapet, so the edge of the building. That's the first part of the roof that fails on pretty much every single building that has a flat roof in the world. There you go. So we'll go and look at the building envelope outside, look at the wall assemblies, check the joints, check the masonry, whatever it is. But almost guaranteed this is about water infiltrating down. Normally I would go outside right now, but first we'll just run the moisture meter here just for the heck of it and see what the moisture meter says.
Alrighty. Can you tell by looking at this how bad sort of, the surface is? Or?
Well, it doesn't smell moldy in here, which is partly a function of you've been cleaning like crazy. I saw the videos.
Yeah.
So, well, that's a mess, right? So the bottom of the wall assembly here needs to be removed, temporarily. Remove the bottom of the wall assembly so you can dry the wall out. Right? Because it's going to be messy under there.
How do we do that? Like a dehumidifier or something?
Well, to dry it, well, first you just cut it and remove it. But.
Okay.
So, it's damp to the touch. Make sure my setting's right. So a drywall, this should read about, notwithstanding really high relative humidity, this should read about 12 to 15 percent RH, and it's at 10. So that's a dry wall there.
And we've actually got a dry day today, if you can believe it.
This jumps right to 36, so that's a wet wall. And you knew that. You knew that already.
I kind of saw some signs of that. There. I kind of noticed.
So watch, as you go up the wall, it'll be dry, right? So down here, it's 39. And then up here, it's 14. So it's just the bottom of the wall, right? So let's go outside and check it out.
Okay.
I was wrong. It's not a flat roof. It's a sloped roof. It's probably a sloped roof, but there's no eaves trough. There's no eaves trough on the building. So if you film the outside, the bottom of the wall along here, you'll see it's all water stained. So it's just, water's just been pouring down here. So you can actually see, just from splashing of water and draining of water, it just, oh, you know what it's probably doing? It's just coming right down against the wall.
Our internet installer, Rob Smith, was mentioning this window up here. If the caulking has gone on that, which he seems to think it is, it may be letting in some of the water coming down inside the wall.
Yeah, so what's our focus here? Number one, well, it's unlikely the landlord's going to install an eaves trough for you. I recommend them at every building, even if you have a metal roof. You tend to get avalanching of ice and snow at a metal roof, so people get tired of replacing the eaves trough. But as an engineering professional who inspects buildings, I always recommend water control, because how do you prevent further settlement at a building? You capture the water and get it away from the building, and you seal the skin of the building. How do you prevent water infiltration through or into a building, into a basement, into a block wall? This is a decorative exterior block wall here. how do you prevent water entry into the block? You seal the system where it's open. So you seal the gaps and the joints and the possible entry points. Building sciences is really simple. It's all about just sealing the skin of the building, capturing the water, getting it away from the building. Right. So, what do we see here?
So it really comes, okay, what do you got?
You know, that looks pretty dark. This all needs to be resealed here.
But is that like a caulking thing?
Yeah, caulking. There are various compounds and products you can get. It's got to be something that withstands Canadian temperature in this part of Canada.
So like minus 100?
Yeah, something like that. And a tremendous amount of snow, which is what we get every year in Barrie.
And no doubt it gets piled right up against this wall.
Piles right against the wall. So, by the way, you just nailed it. Ding, 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 ding. You win the Cupid doll. Because
sweet.
This is probably more about snow sitting against the wall, melting and freezing whatever number of times through the winter. Yeah. And whenever it melts and freezes, of course, you get water. And it infiltrates through the bottom of the block system. Let me have a look. So you can see these little gaps. See these little minute gaps and openings? Like that's a little crack there, a little stress crack or an opening at the mortar. So we're dumping water, so the water freezes, it moves the wall a little bit, and it causes cracking and, you know, a little bit of movement. It promotes water entry. So even if troughs were to be installed, you still need to seal all the obvious cracks and gaps and openings. So that's step one. Seal the building on the outside.
What do we do? What do we do as far as the mortar goes? Like, that's not a caulking job.
So these here, it needs to be ground a little bit, and then you can just apply like a hydraulic cement.
What? What'd you say? Crazy trucks.
So
what if we're going to hear that on the show?
You can grind those mortar joints.
Grind them.
A little bit, right, with a grinding tool or a chisel, whatever. And then otherwise you won't get adherent of the compound that you're trying to pack on there. I mean, some products will stick even if you don't grind it. So you could try to just apply a hydraulic cement. Or some people would come in and recommend parging, which is a cementitious coating on the outside of the block. That's not appropriate in my opinion because it's just going to fall off the building. You could apply a mesh, but that's more work. Let's not go with more work. Let's go with less work. So less work is A, don't parge because you'd need a mesh, and we're not doing that. So then what do? Get some really high quality caulking and or hydraulic cement, and every little joint, including at the door sill, here, right? You can see it's black, right?
Yeah.
So water and snow has been sitting there, right here. Water's getting into the block. When it gets in, it tends to move around a little bit because, you know, the block has cavities, right? So it moves around, water moves around.
So I'm gonna make a new quote here. Andy, cementitious sounds pretentious. I have no idea what you're talking about, but hopefully somebody will.
Something made with cement.
Oh!
Starts with limestone.
Cementitious. Got it.
Cementitious.
We learned something today.
Also, well, it's pretty dark there where the water's just kind of dripping and drooling underneath.
All right.
You know, and it feels wet there.
Yeah.
So water's basically coming down the wall there, and it sort of turns here, and it wants to go in that horizontal joint. And of course, it will go in through these joints. It will go in through the door. I would start with the door. Let me have a closer look here. Okay. You know what? I'm going to recommend a bead of, people say caulk. I'm going to say a bead of caulking because that's how I say it. Right along the horizontal, right along the underside of this block system that hangs out about 1 inch or 2.5 centimeters for those younger folk. You know, this block, the decorative block, there's an overhang. Oh, look at this. Oh, we got little moisture-loving insects crawling out from there.
Oh, is that how they're getting?
Yeah, look at that.
Ants like crazy.
Yeah, so every little opening like this, you know, water comes down and just drips and drools its way in and makes its way in.
These guys are just loving walking around.
I'm going to say hydraulic, like a really good quality hydraulic cement, which is just a compound. It's a manufactured compound that just, it has a good adherent characteristic and it'll stick to this joint. Okay. And just, you know, some of it you can get in a caulking tube and just caulk it on there.
Okay. It sounds like something I can do.
See, at my company, that's Safe Homes Canada, we're all about simple, inexpensive solutions for simple problems. You can't call, and no offense to the contractors of the world, contractors make more money when they do more stuff. So we're not a contractor, we're a consultant. So we want to help people not spend money, spend less money.
Appreciate that, man.
Seal the building up. That's it. I mean, like I said, the builder's not going to, or the landowner or the building owner is not going to put eaves troughs up there. You may want to tell the landlord that they should put a rust inhibiting paint on the edge of the metal roof because it's corroding. That's a simple, common problem. I don't know if you can get that on your super can now. There's your solution right there, buddy.
Okay, so that is how...
That looks pretty wet, doesn't it? Like, it looks like... That looks like water damage on the tiles in there.
Oh yeah, the tiles are loose. You can feel under your feet that the soil is...
Snow's been sitting here like probably all winter long, every winter, and the water just leaks through the door assembly. I'm guessing it's a fire exit.
Yes.
So I would just use temporary caulking. So I would just seal all the joints, including the joints that normally need to be non-static, or they, you know, even though you'd want to open this door in the event of a fire, I'm thinking you can push it open and break the temporary caulking that you're going to apply to help keep water from flowing through your door opening.
I got you.
In the winter and spring.
Okay, so that's going to help us prevent the problem. What do we need to do to fix it so that we can basically get to the point where we can paint and move in?
What you're going to do is you're going to go along the bottom of the wall and just remove wet, damaged drywall until it stops being wet, until you stop finding wet, damaged drywall.
All right.
So if it's soggy, garbage. Okay. Just keep cutting vertical lines as you go. So cut a horizontal line, then cut vertical lines, and just if it's still wet, keep going, and then eventually you'll hit dry drywall, hopefully. Let's go have another look at it.
All right. Before we go in, we're just looking at...
okay, so this is a no-brainer. So I talked about sealing the skin of the building. This caulking's, it looks about 20 years old. It's brittle, it's done, it's history. It's time for recaulking. So water has been pouring. This is the thing with these block walls.
Look at that. There's where there's an ant moving in. There's one in there.
Oh, what a great little camera. So it's so simple, you know.
That's how we've got stuff going on.
So these block walls have cavities. So when snow sits there in the winter, and rain as well, when rain gets down here, it just goes right in those open joints and into the block. It's so simple. But
now this is the wall that Hillary, as you remember, just kind of gave it a tap with her foot, and a bunch of ants came out the bottom.
Wonderful.
Right here. So, and this is exactly the point right here where ants were coming and going. So I can see that there's no... They're not up here. They're actually walking in through the window and walking inside the wall.
That's soaking.
So that's where
it's still wet.
Soaking over here too, eh?
Yeah. Rob, I hate to tell you, buddy, but see how it's all bowed here, and it's like the whole wall's wet. You're gonna probably need to replace the bottom, say 2 feet, 2 vertical feet. What's that in metric? I don't know. To get my tape measure, I'd look. I'm just kidding. So a couple of feet vertically, gone.
All the way around.
There's no sense putting anything new on here or attempting to dry it out until you seal the skin of the building out.
Yeah.
Obviously. So not only is the building envelope unsealed, there has been an enormous amount of water pouring right down against that wall from the entire half of the roof, from the right slope of the roof. So it's just a huge amount of water, regularly. So
yeah, and we've seen it happen since we've been here.
Yeah, no
just with the rain that we've had here in Barrie, so
right into the floor too. So yeah, the good news is it doesn't smell excessively moldy in here. I'm not sure how much mold you've cleaned up, but
none. We basically, as soon as we saw it, we just walked away from it because I thought it would be safest to do that.
Yeah, I have a mold testing kit right now. I'm not recommending it. I can come back after you remove the drywall if you wish, and we can have another look.
Just make sure.
Now,
one thing that I was looking at is a vacuum with a HEPA filter. Is that a good idea?
I think it's a benefit. I think it's a great idea. It's a benefit. Is it necessary? Sure, why not? You know, I'm certainly not going to say it's not a benefit.
Do you think that we're going to have an issue with spores from what you see here?
You know, when you open the wall, it's important to sort of have a visual, have a look at it, and if it's a mold disaster in there, which is it's hard to predict. Sometimes you think things are going to be not too bad, and they're a disaster, and other times you think it's going to be a disaster, and it's fairly clean or free from significant, obvious visual mold. So anybody that is working in here, especially when you're cutting and removing this damaged material, everyone should be wearing a high-quality mask, protective mask for breathing. You don't want to be moving any particulates around in here in light of the presence of this You know, that's relatively minor mold there. You know, I expect to find some more of it where the, you know, within the drywall assembly, but or the system, the drywall, the pieces. But masks for sure, everybody.
All right.
I would.
Why would dirt be coming in under this? I mean, because that looks like soil from outside.
Water's bringing it in. You know, the water transports various things through wall assemblies. You know, at block system, it transports efflorescence, salts and biological agents. It'll transport organics and just all kinds of deleterious material, whatever. So it's also simple, really. Seal the skin of the building. Doesn't really matter what's coming in. Hopefully it's nothing too harmful, right? So it's probably more earth and such.
Yeah, you're using words that I'm really feeling like I need to talk computers for a few minutes. Got to talk about Linux or open source or something that I understand. So I'm going to have to play this back and do some Googling.
There you go. Okay, well, we can figure this out. I'll stop doing that. I'll try to use shorter words.
Smaller words for Robbie. All right, well, thanks, Andy. Appreciate your time.
My pleasure. I'm happy you have a studio that, you know, we can, I know you're going to change the world, literally, with all your techno stuff that you guys do. Enlighten me about.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Thanks for inviting me over.
So this is doable?
Yes,
it's doable. Not that scary?
Keep it simple.
Okay. So
Keep it simple, be brave.
So can I come in with an X-Acto knife and I guess a face mask and some goggles and start cutting this up?
Hey, if you call an environmental consultant, so we're essentially an affordable consulting company. We inspect buildings for a living. Sure, it's all about safety, but if you call a mold remediation company, they're probably going to tell you that you have to spend thousands of dollars here.
Okay.
I disagree. Keep it simple. Clean up the mess. You can we can get you an antimicrobial or antimicrobial, different pronunciations, solution, which is like an anti-mold, antifungal product that you can spray on things that are not being thrown out, which would be probably the inside face of the block if you get to it. You know, you're going to need to get rid of all the damaged materials, and then at some point you may make your way right to the block. We'll see what it looks like inside the wall, and then that'll be a surface you'll want to sanitize. And then at some point, I can coach you on this later, you'll want to reinstate your insulation, you'll want to reinstate your vapor barrier, and have a fully sealed vapor barrier system to help prevent condensation-related problems.
This sounds like a contractor's needed at that point.
Well, we can help you there.
Oh, do you know how to do that stuff?
We have people. I can coach my contractors, so we have people that we recommend that are good people that aren't going to rip you off. So.
Do they like being on TV? Maybe you can run that by them.
They're hams. They're all hams.
See, hams, it means something different to us, doesn't it, folks?
Is it a computer term?
It's like a CB, like ham radio.
Oh, ham radio. Yeah? There you go.
There you go.
Okay.
So it's good to know that all these guys are hams because they'll love the show.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll still have to call them 5 or 6 times to get them on the phone. So.
All right.
That's okay. We can do that.
Okay, man. So where do I start? I need to get caulking outside.
Yep.
Do around everything that you showed me.
Try to get color matching caulking. Hydraulic cement, I haven't checked the colors lately. It probably comes in multicolors now.
So I can get fluorescent pink.
The standard would be, it's unlikely that you would choose that one, but I'm guessing.
How unlikely is it?
In light of the existing colors of the building,
yes.
It looked brownish to me.
Okay.
But I would say, I can help you choose the product. We can maybe go shopping together and pick something out.
Awesome.
We could film that.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
I'll have to wear my 720p glasses.
I look forward to seeing that.
Yeah, it works.
You'll freak me out though, but that's okay.
Okay, Andy Christie, safehomescanada.com.
Signing off.
And you can check out your pilot for your new TV show is there, isn't it?
Inspect the Uninspected TV. It will be right across the world of the internet soon. 7 episodes. Inspect the Uninspected TV.
Across the world of the internet.
Does that make sense?
It doesn't make any sense.
I'm not a computer guy.
All right.
Building guy.
He does this stuff. Awesome. Watch.
Cool.
Well, that went well. Huge thanks to Andy Christie from safehomescanada.com. I'm driving, so I can't quite make eye contact with you. I mentioned about wanting to get a vacuum cleaner, in particular one that had HEPA filters, and Factory Direct, a liquidation store here in Barrie, has them on sale right now with a coupon. They're regularly $150, but they've got them marked down as refurb units.
as Jot pointed out, that could be a good thing, because then you know that people have actually sat down and taken close attention, paid close attention to the whatever you know, problem there was. They fixed it and made it really good. So anyways, they've got them marked down, and then they've got a coupon for $20 off, so $69.99, and I'll get a vacuum cleaner that has 2 HEPA filters, which is important to me because we are dealing with a small mold situation. We don't want to be stirring up mold, and also we do have some of the co-hosts of the show have some pretty bad allergies, so I don't want to be stirring stuff up that's going to be a problem for them. We want to be mindful of that. So thank you to everybody for your contributions. Of course, that is, you know, this is a good example of one of those small expenses that they do add up. It's a small expense, but your donations make it so that I can go and get a vacuum cleaner, which we need. And it's a silly little thing, but we'll have it for years if the thing lasts, and it should be good. So thank you, everybody, and do check out our website, cat5.tv/studio, and you can find out ways that you can support the Studio D project, including upgrading our camera to a 4K camera. Very, very exciting stuff. So for day 5, I intend to get up on the roof. That's my hope. I want to get up there and see whether we've got line of sight access to towers and things. I know Rob Smith was by and took a look for us. He's one of the local wireless internet service providers, and he says that he does have line of sight. I want to check it out and see kind of how far we're going as far as the connection goes. My camera's bouncing around here, sorry. And we're going to see that on day 5, as well as unbox the vacuum cleaner. Ha! How fun will that be? All right, see you, everybody. Have a good one.